The father of the suspect in this week's Georgia school shooting has been charged in connection with the massacre. And Vice President Harris's campaign raised nearly 3 times as much as the Trump campaign last month. Good morning. I'm Corva Coleman from NPR News, and here are today's top stories. Authorities in Georgia are filing charges against the father of a 14-year-old boy suspected of carrying out this week's deadly shooting at his high school northeast of Atlanta. From member station WABE, Jim Burris reports it left 4 people dead.
Local authorities arrested 54-year-old Colin Gray, according to Georgia Bureau of Investigation Director Chris Hosey.
He is charged with the following: 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, 2 counts of second-degree murder, and 8 counts of cruelty to children.
Police say Gray gave his son an AR-style rifle sometime after both were interviewed last year about alleged threats the teenage boy had made to carry out a school shooting. 2 teachers and 2 students were killed in Wednesday's shooting at Appalachia High School. 9 others sustained non-life-threatening injuries. For NPR News, I'm Jim Burris in Atlanta.
Kamala Harris's Democratic presidential campaign says it raised $361 million last month. As NPR's Asma Khalid reports, that number is far more than what is being reported by Donald Trump's presidential campaign.
The huge haul the Democrats are reporting is nearly 3 times as much money as the Trump political operation brought in last month. The Trump campaign reported it raised $130 million in August. In isolation, the Trump numbers are also huge, but this cycle, the millions keep pouring in. The Harris campaign says it has raised more than $615 million since the beginning of the vice president's candidacy. And it said that this last month was the best grassroots fundraising month in presidential history. Money, of course, buys resources, but this race for money may muddle the political reality, which is that the polls still show the presidential race remains incredibly close. Asma Khalid, NPR News.
Donald Trump spoke to the Economic Club of New York yesterday. He made several promises, such as intending to cut the corporate tax rate from 21% to 15%. He again criticized migrants in the U.S. illegally. Trump also told his audience that as president, he always tried to prioritize the U.S.
In every decision I asked, will I create jobs here or will I be sending jobs overseas? Will it make America richer and stronger, or will it make our country weaker and poorer? I always put America first, every single time.
Trump also said he wants to create a commission aimed at creating new efficiency in government. He says he wants to put Tesla billionaire CEO Elon Musk in charge of it. Vice President Harris remains in Pittsburgh today. She is preparing for the presidential debate scheduled for next Tuesday with Trump. President Biden will travel to Michigan later this afternoon. Biden will talk about his administration's efforts to create more jobs in the U.S. UN agencies in Gaza say more than 160,000 Palestinian children have been vaccinated against the highly infectious virus polio. Efforts began last weekend. As NPR's Aya Batrawi reports, polio was found in sewage on the streets after Israel's bombardment of water systems in Gaza.
The UN's vaccination campaign runs for around 11 days, moving in phases to different parts of Gaza. The campaign's success has hinged so far on a daytime pause in Israeli airstrikes of areas where the vaccine is being given. But just as the campaign wrapped up in central Gaza this week, aid groups and Gaza Civil Defense say an Israeli airstrike targeted the tents of displaced people at the main hospital, killing 4 and wounding many others. Israel's military says it targeted militants in strikes on central Gaza. Children in Gaza haven't had access to vaccines over the past year of war. The first case of polio in 25 years in Gaza was confirmed last month in a baby boy, now paralyzed. Aya Batrawi, NPR News.
You're listening to NPR News from Washington.